I guess we can start with it.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome to you all for the fifth day, the Ocean Literacy course. Ocean Literacy: Know Your Planet Beyond Land. A very warm welcome to our mentor, Dr. Suprava Patnaik, ma'am. As we process through this journey, we have been exploring the ocean from multiple perspectives: its fundamental nature, our relationship with it, its strategic importance, and the principles of sustainability that guides our responsible action as well. Building on this foundation, our today's session brings us closer to the heart of the ocean itself. So, the topic for today is the living ocean, understanding the marine biodiversity and our role in its future. This session will help us appreciate the incredible diversity of life within the marine ecosystem, understand the pressures they face, and reflect our collective responsibility in conserving and restoring this fragile yet vital systems. We are honored to have with us Dr. Suprava Patnaik, ma'am, who will be conducting our today's session. Ma'am is an accomplished academician and a practitioner with over 3 decades of experience in ecosystem and environmental management, sustainable development, and policy analysis. He served as a professor at the Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal, for nearly 3 decades, and later as a principal advisor at the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Institute of Good Governance and Policy Analysis, Government of Madhya Pradesh, where she led significant initiatives in urban governance, natural resource management, and decentralized governance. She has worked with esteemed organizations such as UNESCO New Delhi and Development Alternative, contributing extensively to biodiversity conservation, climate resilience, and sustainable livelihood. Currently, MAM serves as the principal advisor for the climate action initiatives at the Center for Youth and Sustainable Development and is actively advising the formation of the Odisha Climate Action Practitioners Collaborative, aimed at strengthening regional climate resilience. Her areas of expertise include climate change resilience, coastal ecosystems, blue economy, blue jobs, natural resource management, NTFP based bioeconomy, and sustainable urban governance. With deep research insights and significant extensive field experience across diverse Indian landscape, MAM is a strong advocate for bridging science, policy, and practice to achieve sustainable and inclusive development. We are truly privileged to have you here with us and to learn from your rich experience and insights today. I encourage all the participants to actively listen, reflect deeply, and engage with questions and discussions throughout the session. Without further delays, I invite Dr. Suprava Patnaik, ma'am, to take us through today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sneha. Uh, yeah. So, yeah. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to take this session in this ocean literacy program of the policy. My topic today is the living ocean, understanding marine biodiversity and our role in its future. Uh, it's for last few days you have been discussing about Dr. Rambhuj and others, and Sneha herself had given the basic foundation of what ocean is and what is ocean's role, etc. And I'll be dealing mostly with ocean marine diversity and our role in its future. How our collective responsibility, individual and collective responsibility for ocean marine biodiversity conservation. Why this session? As we all know, ocean covers most of our planet. Ocean supports the human well-being, life, livelihood, and climate. Yet, most of us know very little about it. So, this thing. Today's, I'll take you through in this today's journey of 2 hours. I'll take you to various part. What is ocean and ocean biodiversity? The levels of biodiversity, scale, ocean, the incredible diversity of ocean life that exists across in various sizes, from smallest to largest, that is from 0.5 micrometer to several meters, like of 30 meters of organism like well. We'll discuss about various ocean ecosystem, how they are interconnected, and what are the organisms living there. We will discuss from phytoplankton to well, and then we will discuss that ocean is not a uniform ecosystem. It's a diverse, ranging from various ecosystem like mangrove to deep sea, and each ecosystem has unique characteristics. And then we will study everything is connected. The ocean is interconnected, forming a web of life. And we'll discuss about this interconnectedness, and then we will also discuss about every ecosystem is connected to other and also the various threads that break these ocean connections. And at the end, we will see what can we do about these threads. Then what are the comprehensive solutions? That is very important. Individual, community, and policy level. Then we'll discuss a lot of case success stories, what has been happening in India and Bangladesh. And then we will conclude with certain aspects such as our ocean, our future, and our life. I'll take a very few fraction of a second what is ocean, because for last few days you have been listening about what is ocean. Ocean is a vast body of salt water that covers 71% of Earth's surface. It is a one continuous interconnected global ocean, and they have been divided into various regions. Contains 97% of all water on Earth. In the first session, Sneha had spoken about there are 5 ocean basins, major ocean basins, starting from Pacific Ocean, which is the largest, to Arctic Ocean, which is the smallest around the North Pole. It is one global ocean we will be discussing. All ocean basins are connected, and it links the various regions in one continuous system. The major ocean features are, if you look at it, is amazing. The average depth of ocean, it can go up to 3,800 meters, and the deepest point is about 11,000 meters. And open ocean is deep waters far from shore. Ocean floor has various small mountains, valleys, plains, volcanoes, etc. Landscape as dramatic as on land. It's very mysterious and interesting both. Why the ocean matters to us? Ocean matters to us because Earth is an ocean world, as it contains 71% of Earth's surface is covered by ocean. 97% of all Earth's water is in the ocean. Ocean generates about 50 to 80% of Earth's oxygen. The ocean also regulates our climate. It stores enormous amounts of heat from the sun. Ocean drives weather patterns. Evaporation from ocean creates rain clouds. Ocean currents influence monsoons and rainfall. Ocean temperature determines cyclone formation and intensity. Ocean is also source of food, livelihood, medicines, and resources. It is home to incredible biodiversity, millions of species that are there. The key message is the ocean sustains all life on Earth. Without the ocean, the Earth would be uninhabitable. We depend on the ocean whether we live on the coast or far inland. Why the ocean matters to our region, whether it is in India, Bangladesh, or Sri Lanka, elsewhere. It gives us food security and livelihood. Bay of Bengal supports about 400 plus million people across India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. Indian fisheries, 9.6 million fishers depend on marine resources. Hilsa fishery, which is very important for India and Bangladesh, a single species supports millions of families across Bangladesh and India. It is one of the major protein source. Fish is the major protein source. Economic value from Indian marine fisheries goes above 65,000 plus crore annually. As I already said, monsoon and climate regulation, Indian Ocean drives the monsoon, determines our agricultural success or failure. Then coastal protection, natural infrastructure, mangroves in Odisha, Sundarbans protect against cyclones. They are the natural infrastructure. Apart from mangroves, coral reefs, etc., also protects from storm surges and cyclone. Cyclone Amphan 2020, Sundarbans mangroves saved thousands of lives, prevented about 10,000 plus crore rupees in damage. These mangroves, because of mangroves are there, the impact of cyclone reduced and many lives were saved. Similarly, super cyclone 1999, areas with mangrove has saved many lives. These mangroves, as we call it, natural infrastructure, are most cost effective than the sea walls. If we build sea walls, it is very expensive and it requires maintenance. Whereas mangroves are green natural infrastructure. Biodiversity hotspot, Bay of Bengal, you have different kind of biodiversity. Olive ridley sea turtle you find in Odisha beaches. You will also in Odisha you find Irrawaddy dolphins. You have in Bay of Bengal you find a lot of endemic species which is not found elsewhere on the earth. You have marine protected areas in Gulf of Mannar and Sundarbans, which are very important biodiversity hotspots, marine biodiversity hotspots. Economic backbone beyond fishing. We discussed about fishing, how it is important, the marine biodiversity. The ocean is also important in terms of ports and trade. Coastal tourism generates about 50,000 crore plus annually. Goa, Kerala, Andaman, etc. Aquaculture, shrimp farming is very important in is a major export industry. Salt production also happens in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. Culture and spiritual significance. Apart from all this economic and social, there is cultural and social significance. Sacred rivers meeting ocean, Ganga, Godavari, Krishna, they are of spiritual significance. Coastal temples, Puri, Jagannath, Rameshwaram, Dwarka are the pilgrimage center which is near to the coast. Festivals like Ganga Sagar Mela, Chhat Puja connected ocean and river ecosystem. Identity, one of the major this thing is coastal communities way of life intertwined with ocean. So these are some of the highlights of how ocean matters to us. Ocean is important to our life. We also see how climate change is impacting. One of the interesting this thing is regional interconnectedness. Bangladesh and India, we share resources in terms of Hilsa migrates across India and Bangladesh water. We have transboundary pollution, which is a major problem. Plastic from rivers affect entire Bay of Bengal. We have common challenges, India, Bangladesh, and other Sri Lanka, etc. We have common challenges, cyclones, sea level rise, overfishing affect all Bay of Bengal nations. But we have shared solutions, for example, regional marine protected area networks, joint disaster preparedness, etc., which connects the Bay of Bengal uh, nations like India, Sri Lanka, and India, Bangladesh, etc. Then we will discuss about ocean biodiversity. The various fundamentals of ocean biodiversity. We discussed about ocean. Ocean biodiversity is very important, which is the topic of the today. Ocean biodiversity, bio means life, diversity means variety or variability. Biodiversity. Biodiversity in the ocean means the variety of life. At three levels, we find genes, species, and ecosystems. It includes everything, the tiny microbes and plankton to corals, fish, turtles, and whales. Various diversity of organisms. What is genetic diversity? When you have variety of gene or different genes within a species, then we call it genetic diversity. Variety of species from tiny plankton to turtles and whales in an ecosystem is species diversity. When you have different ecosystem such as coral reefs, mangroves, open sea, and deep sea, the diversity of ecosystem is ecosystem diversity. Altogether, this living variety is the foundation of life in the ocean and supports our food, climate, and culture. That's what biodiversity, ocean biodiversity is important. Genetic diversity. The level one is genetic diversity. That is variation within one species. Let's take an example of paddy, Oryza sativa, rice variety. We have various kinds of rice variety. Uh, if you see this picture here, different color, different length, and which has different flavor, aroma, texture, etc. So Oryza sativa, it's a single species, but different varieties. That is because of variation, different genes that are there, variation within one species. For example, in one species, look at this genetic diversity. You have the variety of genes or inheritable characteristics present in a population. You have dog, that species, but you have different size, color, and this thing, and you have Chichua, big beagles, Rottweiler, Weller are different kinds of this thing because of the variation in genes are different. For example, this bird, same species, but the different kind of this thing you find big size and colors are different. Apples, single species apple, but you have different types because of the genetic variability. You will have green apple, yellow apple, and other white apple and other apple. Other example from Hilsa fish known as Tenulosa ilisha, which is found in India and Bangladesh, found in Bay of Bengal. Hilsa from Ganga, Mahanadi and Godavari's rivers have slightly different genes. These genetic differences actually help them to adapt local salinity, temperature, and food. If one river population declines, other genetically distinct population can still survive. So this is because of genetic diversity helps in adaptation and helps in survival, etc. Species diversity. Species diversity refers to variety of different species within a particular area or an ecosystem. Suppose number of species, total number of different species present in an ecosystem is more. For example, in coral reef with 500 fish species has higher diversity than a pond with 20 fish species. You can have high diversity when the number of species are more. If the number of species are less, it is less species diversity. The functional role of species diversity is variety of ecological functions species perform, such as predator, herbivore, decomposers, and pollinators, which together maintain ecosystem health and resilience. Ecosystem diversity. A variety of habitats support life. Habitat is the place we or organism live in. We have mangrove ecosystem, coral reef ecosystem, seagrass meadows, estuaries, open sea, deep sea. Ecosystem diversity encompasses both habitat and community diversity. A habitat is the environment in which an organism or species lives, including the physical characteristics, example, climate or availability of suitable food or shelter, that make it especially well suited to meet the life cycle needs of that species. Species depend on multiple habitats. For example, a particular fish spawns in reefs, coral reefs or reefs. It can grow in, the adult one can grow in mangroves. So it requires, for different life stages, it requires different types of ecosystem. If you destroy one ecosystem, then you will have loss generation of life. It's all ecosystems are interconnected. For example, in the previous this thing, when a species depends on multiple habitats, you will see that coral reef and mangroves are interconnected. Two ecosystems, but they are interconnected. Why protect marine biodiversity? As we have been discussing, it gives food security. Ocean provides 70% of global protein. It regulates climate. It's, as we discussed already, coral reefs and mangroves reduce wave energy by 97%. It also provides, we'll discuss in later, medicine and economy. Lot of in coral reef we find very important medicines which are which can be treated for cancer and other diseases. So we need to protect marine biodiversity, because it is interconnected. As we have already discussed, fish spawns in reefs, grows in mangroves, thrive in open sea. Then it moves to open sea. A particular fish can spawn in a reef ecosystem, moves to mangroves, then later it goes to open sea. So it uses three different ecosystems. So it says that ecosystems are not isolated, they are all interconnected. Now we have to see how much the life is there. What we know so far is 2.3 lakh marine species scientifically described to date, which includes fish, corals, crabs, shellfish, mollusks, seaweed, plankton, marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, etc. But what we don't know yet is scientists estimate that 2 million species still undiscovered. And within the undiscovered ones, the majority are in deep sea. We don't know what are the various microscopic microbes that are there, what are the various cryptic reef species that are there. The known, what we know is just the tip of the iceberg. We have explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. The life that is there in the species that is there in the ocean floor. We don't know yet what is there in the deep sea, which remains mysterious than outer space. Every deep sea expedition discovers new species. Even shallow coastal waters hide undiscovered biodiversity. Why this matters? We are protecting species we don't even know exist yet. Unknown species may hold medical breakthrough or climate solutions. Highlight how little we truly understood about ocean ecosystem. The conservation urgency is species going extinct before we discover them. That is the major thing. So we need to catalog this species before it is extinct. Where ocean biodiversity concentrates. Coastal ecosystems are most biodiversity hotspots like coral reefs, mangroves, nursery for 80% of commercial fish species, seagrass meadows, underwater seagrass meadows that is present supports dugongs, turtles, juvenile fish. Estuaries, mix of freshwater and saltwater, creates unique biodiversity. It contains a lot of unique species there, including rocky shores and tide pools, diverse invertebrates, algae, fish that are there. Open ocean compared to coastal ecosystem like coral reef, mangrove, their largest habitat by volume but lower biodiversity per unit area. But it is nevertheless home to tuna, sharks, sea turtles, whales, dolphins, etc. And certain pelagic fish, jellyfish, squid dominate in open ocean. Whereas deep ocean is least explored, the organisms have very weird and bizarre. They have strange adaptations because they live in dark. They have adaptation structures like bioluminescence, extreme pressure tolerance, hydrothermal vents with unique chemosynthetic ecosystem. Most biodiversity here still unknown. Now let's discuss about the incredible diversity of ocean life from microscopic to wells. Incredible biodiversity of ocean life from microscopic to massive well. Ocean life, if you see, it's amazing. It ranges from tiny microbes, a few micrometer, about zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2 micrometer, which you can see in uh, which you need ultra microscope, etc., to the largest animal on earth like blue whale. The size difference, the smallest ocean life can be around micrometer in size, invisible to the naked eye. Some of the smallest bacteria, such as Mycoplasma species, are only about zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 micrometers across, with some ultra microbacteria even smaller than this mycoplasma, the tiniest kind of this thing bacteria. While the other spectrum, you have blue whales can reach about 30 meters in length, which is a blue whale's heart can be roughly the size of a small vehicle, and a single whale can eat several tons of krill in one day. The key message here is when we discuss about ocean life from microscopic to massive well, ocean supports life at all scales. Largest animal depends on smallest organism. As I discussed, that a blue whale can can eat several tons of krills, microorganisms in one day. Interconnected marine food web, all the links, food links are interlinked, forming a food web. Now let's discuss about the smallest, tiniest drifting organisms known as plankton. They are the foundation of marine life. These tiny drifting organisms, they cannot swim against current. Found in marine and freshwater systems, size can be micrometers to centimeters. There are two types of plankton. They are called phytoplankton, which is plant-like, and zooplankton, that is animal-like. Phytoplanktons are microscopic algae that photosynthesize, produce 50% of Earth's oxygen. The examples can be diatoms, dinoflagellates, cyanobacteria, etc. Zooplanktons are animal-like, small drifting animals they feed on phytoplanktons. Examples, krills, copepods. Copepods are crustaceans, krill, larva fish, arrowworms, etc. Ecological importance of plankton is they are the base of all marine food webs, support fish, marine mammals, seabirds, etc. As I discussed, they are important in terms of Earth's life support and also for, for human livelihood. I'll discuss a little bit more about phytoplanktons. As we have discussed, the microscopic plant floating near sunlit ocean surface, they are present. The drifting organisms float near sunlit ocean surface, photosynthesize. The size can range from 2 to 200 meters, millions of cell per liter of seawater. If you take a liter of seawater, it contains millions of phytoplanktons. Its life support system produces 50 to 80% of Earth's oxygen. Every second breath comes from phytoplankton. We take this thing. It fixes about 45 to 50 billion tons of carbon dioxide annually. It's the foundation of ocean food webs, base of all marine food chains, etc. Zooplankton is deep. They are the consumers. They feed on phytoplanktons. They are tiny drifting animals feeding on phytoplankton. As I already discussed, krill, copepod, jellyfish larvae, etc. Their critical role is the vital food link phytoplankton energy to larger animals, food for fish, whales, and seabirds. Blue whale connection is ocean interconnection. Blue whale to krill. As I said, blue whale eats tons of krills, consumes about 4 tons of krills daily. A whale, blue whale can consume 4 tons of krill daily. Largest animal depends on smallest creatures. For example, Bay of Bengal abundance, monsoon season 50,000 to 100,000 per cubic meter, the abundance and supports productive fisheries. Simple food chain, sunlight, photosynthesis through phytoplankton, then zooplankton eats phytoplankton. Zooplankton is again eaten by fish, and fish is being eaten by people. This is the simple food chain that goes. Next comes to fish. Fish is the ocean's protein providers, and they're the vertebrates, animal with backbones living in water. They have a remarkable diversity in size and form. The size can few centimeters to over 4 meters. A anchovy, the smallest fish, can be 2 to 4 centimeter, and a largest whale shark can be of 12 plus meters, whereas bluefin tuna can be 4 meters. It has incredible diversity, 34,000 plus fish species globally, 3,500 marine fish species in Indian waters. It is the lifeline for coastal communities, key for food security, employment, support millions of livelihoods, primary protein source, etc. Indian Ocean examples, oil sardine and mackerel in Arabian Sea, you find it in Maharashtra and Karnataka. Hilsa in Bay of Bengal, you find it in Bangladesh, Eastern India. Both species are vital in regional fisheries. Fish you will find in different ocean zones, and we'll discuss about what are the various commercial species. Fish by ocean zones. In the surface of the ocean, you will find the surface dwellers, they are tuna, flying fish, sardines. Mid-water, you find it mackerel, pomfret, snappers. And the bottom dwellers are flatfish, rays, catfish. And the commercial species, regional examples, Hilsa in Bay of Bengal, migrates between sea and rivers. Bangladesh about 550,000 tons per year. 70% of marine catch supports 550,000 plus fishers. In Arabian sea species, we have bombil, Bombay dock, Maharashtra and Gujarat, Indian mackerel, Bangla, abundant in both seas, sardines and tuna. One of the critical challenges of fish is 56% of fish stocks are overfished, threatens food security and livelihood, need for sustainable fishing practices. Coming to the next one, sharks. They are the ocean's top predator. They are cartilaginous fishes and top predator. They essential ecosystem balance. Key ecological role is remove weak, sick, and injured animals, control population of mid-level predators. Healthy sharks equal to healthy oceans. Their diversity is 500 plus shark species worldwide, and in Indian Ocean about 100 plus species. Many are threatened by overfishing and bycatch. Regional examples are whale shark, you have reef sharks, and as I already said, they are indicator of ocean health. Healthy shark population means well functioning ocean. Marine mammals are we will discuss about dolphins. We have Ganges River dolphin found in Ganga Brahmaputra riverway system. They are functionally blind, navigates using echolocation. Echolocation is nature's biological sonar system. Animals produce clicks and squeaks and listen to echoes, see surroundings using sound instead of light. So all these dolphins have this Gangetic river dolphin has this echolocation. Next comes Irrawaddy dolphin, which you find in Sundarbans and Chilka region. We have in Chilka Lake in Odisha, we have about 160 individuals, whereas in Sundarbans about 70 to 150 individuals. They are of conservation importance. Both species face habitat loss, human disturbance, indicator of river and coastal ecosystem wealth, protected under Indian Wildlife Protection Act. Next comes whales and again uh, some this thing. Whales are ocean's giants, warm-blooded, air-breathing mammals, give birth to live young and nurse with milk. Among largest animals ever to this thing, whales, you have different kinds of whales, baleen whales, blue and humpback, and toothed whales. You have sperm and orca. Blue whale are the largest animal ever, 30 meters long, 200, weighs about 200 tons, about 2000 in North Indian Ocean, 8 tons of krills. Next comes marine turtles. They are the ancient ocean survivors, survived 100 plus million years. 5 species you find: olive ridley, green, hawksbill, leatherback, and loggerhead. And unique ecological role: green turtle grazes seagrass meadows, maintains coastal habitats. Hawksbill feeds on coral reef sponges. Olive ridley, you have interesting mass nesting rookery in Gair Matha and other places. Conservations, you have a lot of interesting conservation success story. The population which was declined earlier, because of protection, population increased from 200,000 in 1990s, which was there, to 800,000 in 2023. 4 times increase through beach protection, fishing regulation, and community engagement. This has happened in Odisha in Gahir Matha, world's largest nesting site, which shows that if you give proper protection, the turtles can again come back. Effective conservation can reverse declining trends and restore ocean biodiversity. Marine reptiles, you have sea snakes, then saltwater crocodile, which you find in saltwater crocodile in Sundarbans. You find in India and Bangladesh too. You have the next, and the group is invertebrates, animals without backbones. And these marine invertebrates are 97% of ocean animal diversity. Major groups are crustaceans, for example, crabs, mud crabs in mangroves, which gives an income 5,000 crore to fishery annually. In crustaceans, again, prawns and shrimps are there, which is important. India's export $5.7 billion. And you have spiny lobsters, valuable fisheries. The second one is, after crustaceans, mollusks. You have mussels, oysters, octopus, squid, cuttlefish. Then you have changs, sacred conch. You find it in Gulf of Mannar, used in Hindu rituals. Then you have the other group called echinoderms, comprising the organisms comprising of sea stars, sea urchins, sea cucumbers. Conservation crisis: sea cucumbers population. This is a sea cucumber. The population is declined because of illegal trade. The sea cucumber population declined 80% in Gulf of Mannar, 2000 crore illegal trade from Tamil Nadu itself. Then you have another group called Nidaria, where the corals and jellyfish comes in Nidaria category. Corals reef builders of Gulf of Mannar and Lakshadweep. Jellyfish drift with currents, capture prey with stinging cells. So these are important invertebrates. Now let's come to, after the various species from microscopic phytoplankton to whale to invertebrates, now come to ocean ecosystem. We have diverse ocean ecosystems. Communities, ocean ecosystem is community of living organisms interacting with ocean environment, includes plant, animals, microorganisms, water, nutrient, physical condition. Everything is connected through food webs and nutrient cycle. Major ecosystem types are coastal and nearshore ecosystems, which comprises of mangrove forest, intertidal zones, coral reefs, seagrass beds, etc., estuaries, rocky shores, sandy beaches, mud flats, etc. Then you have the second ecosystem is open ocean or pelagic ecosystem, which is surface waters. You find phytoplankton blooms, midwater swimming fish and marine mammals. And then you have deep sea ecosystem, that is sea floor, benthic zones, hydrothermal vents, unique chemosynthetic cycle, cold seeps and deep trenches, etc. Abyssal plains. Another interesting thing is ocean zones by depth. Life is organized by depth and light. You'll find most of the diverse life is are at different depth because of the light penetration. You have sunlit zone, which is about 0 to 200 meters. Most photosynthesis occur. You find highest diversity and highest productivity where most marine life exists. Then you have twilight zone, 200 to 1000 meter, dim light, limited photosynthesis, unique bioluminescent organism. Then you have midnight zone or dark zone, which is 1000 meter above 1000-meter deep, pitch black, no sunlight, high pressure, cold temperatures, and specialized deep sea adaptation, etc. This is the ecosystem matrix we are going to discuss, various ecosystem. First, I'll discuss about mangrove forest, the coastal guardians. What are mangroves? Mangroves are salt-tolerant trees or shrubs in muddy intertidal zone found in tropical and subtropical coasts. It has unique adaptation for harsh coastal environments. It has unique superpowers, salt tolerance. They survive water 100 times saltier than the most plants. Breath, they have pneumatophores, uh, which gets oxygen from waterlogged soil. They have viviparous seeds, germinate on parent tree, drop ready to grow. These are all viviparous seeds. These are all viviparous seeds. Ecological services, nursery habitat. 80% of commercial fish crabs spend early life in mangrove roots, support prawns, crabs, fish population. Mangrove, one of important services is storm protection, natural barriers against cyclones and storm surges, reduce wave energy, protect coastal communities. As I already mentioned, in cyclone Amphan and Fani, damage reduced by mangroves. It is one of the important blue carbon storage ecosystems, store massive amounts of carbon critical for climate regulation. It captures about 4 times more than forest on the land. Livelihood, people are dependent on mangrove system for fishing, honey collection, tourism, etc. The major Indian sites are Sundarbans in India, Bangladesh, world's largest. You have Vittarkanika, Pichawara, Muthupet, Godavari, Krishna, Andamans, etc. Threats, one of the major threat in this ecosystem is aquaculture conversion and coastal development and pollution. As I discussed about mangroves have different kind of adaptation, pneumatophores, and also this thing. I'll just discuss about mangroves in Sundarbans. It's a shared heritage between of Bangladesh and India. The world's largest mangrove forest and shared between India and Bangladesh. 10,000 square kilometer, world's largest mangrove forest. Bangladesh shares about 60%, that is 6017 square kilometer, whereas India share about 4264 square kilometer, 40%. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, home to Royal Bengal tiger. Rich biodiversity. If you see, look at fish species 120 plus, crustaceans, birds 300 species, and important mammals like Royal Bengal tiger, fishing cats, and other Irrawaddy and Ganges river dolphins, reptiles like saltwater crocodile, monitor lizards, and snakes. Its ecological economic importance is nursery for commercial fish species, support coastal livelihood, critical for biodiversity. Then comes coral reefs. I will discuss very briefly about coral reefs because already other mentors have discussed about coral reef and coral bleaching, etc. Only I will discuss very briefly about coral reefs. Coral reefs are built by tiny coral polyps, animals from phylum Cnidaria, secrete hard calcium carbonate skeletons over centuries, cover less than 1% of ocean floor, supports about 25% of all marine species, thousands of fish, invertebrate and algal species. Rainforest of it's also known as rainforest of the sea because of its contains highest marine biodiversity. Ecological and economic services, food security, reef fish supports coastal fisheries, important protein source for communities. Economic benefits in terms of tourism income, for example, snorkeling, diving, etc., as we see in Lakshadweep and other areas, um, support coastal communities, and coral reefs also coastal protection, natural breakwaters, protect shorelines from wave damage. Major reef systems in India are Gulf of Mannar, Park Bay, Tamil Nadu, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Gulf of Kutch. And one of the, apart from various importance benefits we discussed, additional importance is medicine. Reef organisms is source of new pharmaceutical drugs. As I said, anti-cancer drugs like RC from Caribbean spawns treats leukemia and lymphoma. It also used in pain medication from a species called ziconotide from medications such as Prialt, which comes from cone snail venom, treats severe chronic pain, etc. So it is very important. Coral reef conservation, coral reef species are important for various unknown. It can be important for treating on diseases, various diseases. We all know that one of the major threat to corals is coral bleaching crisis. 2016 and 2020 mass bleaching events in Indian reefs. Straight corals expel symbiotic algae and becomes white and die. Warming oceans is also a greatest threat which facilitates the coral bleaching. Sea meadows are the overlooked treasures are important. Now important. The seagrass beds are underwater flowering plants. They are not seaweed. They are sea grasses. Form meadows in shallow coastal waters, often found with mangroves and coral reefs. You find in India, Gulf of Mannar, Andaman Nicobar, and we also find in Chilka in Odisha some grass meadows. Bangladesh limited coastal waters. Biodiversity you find is dugong sea cow only eats seagrass. Green turtles also graze on seagrass. It's also fish nursery, a habitat for fishes. The young fish hides in seagrass blades. Seahorses also anchor to seagrass. Lot of invertebrates are also present, shrimps, crabs, and mollusks. Critical ecosystem services, these sea grasses are one of the blue carbon storage, store carbon 35 times faster than rainforest for area. It also filters, uh, it has improves water quality, traps sediments, improve water clarity. It also protects coastal this thing through root system, stabilize seabed and control erosion. It also food web foundation supports diversity of marine life, nursery grounds for commercial fish. One of the major threat is coastal development, bottom trawling, pollution, anchor damage from boats. Estuaries is again where rivers meet the sea. Semi-enclosed areas where rivers meet the sea, brackish water, highly productive because nutrients from both land and ocean comes. Varied salinity creates diverse habitats. Major estuaries in our region is Ganga Brahmaputra Delta, world's largest, Bangladesh plus India. East Coast India, Hooghly, Kolkata, Godavari, Krishna, Mahanadi. West Coast India, we have Narmada, Tapi. We have enormous biodiversity. Fish, hilsa migrates through estuaries to spawn. Nursery grounds for commercial spaces. You have a lot of estuaries. For example, in Lagoon, Chilka Lagoon, you have migratory shorebirds like Siberian crane and flamingos, crustaceans, mollusk. Human importance is major fishing ground. You also estuaries, lot of coastal paddy cultivation is done the way it is done in Bangladesh coastal chars. Salt production, transport routes and ports. Vulnerability is highly threatened by pollution, overdevelopment and habitat loss. Then you have mudflats, which are also very important between intertidal zones. They are rich in life, high organic matter content, abundant invertebrates, worms, snails, crabs, key feeding grounds for migratory shorebirds. Ecological functions critical for nutrient cycling, soft buffers, absorb wave energy, support coastal food web. Regional examples are Gulf of Kutch, East Coast deltas, etc. Deltas, again, important. We have major delta is Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna delta. Other as I already discussed, um, rocky intertidal zones are very important. Coastal zone with high and low tide marks on rocky shores. It has different zonations, distinct horizontal bands, prey zones, and then intertidal zones. And you find the key organisms are invertebrates, mussels, barnacles, sea stars, anemone, crabs, etc. Producers like seaweeds and algae. Ecological importance is high biodiversity hotspot. Threats are oil spill, pollution, human trampling from coastal tourism, etc. Climate change is another major problem in this thing. Open ocean is pelagic zone, largest ecosystem on Earth, 90% of ocean volume seemingly empty but teeming with life. Key inhabitants are planktons, both phyto and zooplankton, shoals of fish, squids, large migratory animals, tuna, sharks, dolphins, whales, majority of migratory it is the majority, it is the major migratory highway, the ocean, open ocean. Global importance is produces large portion of Earth's oxygen. So you have life in open ocean. As I said, you will have different kinds of organisms in surface water, mid water, and deep sea. Then migration through Indian Ocean, whales and tuna migrate in this pelagic zone. They have unique adaptation, streamlined bodies because they have to swim long distance. They have streamlined bodies, schooling behavior, counter shedding. Human connection is tuna fisheries, shipping routes, etc. Deep sea is very interesting. The final frontier oceans are generally deeper than 1000 meters, about 1000 meters, where sunlight doesn't reach. It's pitch dark, high pressure environment. It is the least explored ecosystem on Earth. We know more about moon's surface than the deep ocean floor. Bizarre life, host specialized communities, deep sea fishes, squids, crustaceans, bioluminescent organisms, and unique life around. Hydrothermal vents that use chemicals instead of sunlight. Bioluminescent creatures make their own light. Anglefish, gulper eels, vampire squid, giant tube worms at hydrothermal vents. And species often grow slowly and are vulnerable to disturbance from sea mining and trawling and pollution. Now we have discussed about various species and various ecosystem. They are not, when we talk about ecosystem, we talk about mangrove, coral, sea meadows. It may be looking they are existing in different area, but they are all interconnected. Interconnections and importance, we will go now some slides. Everything is connected, the ocean web of life. The basic principle of interconnectedness is no ocean species or ecosystem exist in isolation. Everything is interconnected through food web, through nutrient cycle, and habitat dependency. We saw how a particular species depends on 3 4 different habitat for uh, this thing. We saw fish can spawn in one ecosystem, moves to different ecosystems, seagrass meadows. Then for adult life, it goes to deep sea. So their habitat dependent. Various species are different habitat dependent. If you remove one link, the entire ecosystem weakens. But if you protect one habitat, multiple connected ecosystems benefit. Food webs, energy flows through life. Simple food chain example is phytoplankton is taken by zooplankton, then zooplanktons are taken by small fish and then big fish, and the big fish are taken by the top predators like dolphin and sharks. Then bacteria decompose waste, release nutrients back to phytoplankton, and cycle continues. Nothing is wasted. Death feeds life and completing the circle. Bay of Bengal Hilsa connection. Monsoon brings nutrient from Ganga, Brahmaputra rivers, trigger plankton bloom. Plankton feeds Hilsa larvae. Young Hilsa grow in estuaries protected by mangroves. Adult Hilsa migrate to open sea, support fisheries in Bangladesh and India. Fish waste fertilizes ocean, nutrients cycle back. Now in this you see one species connects rivers, estuaries, mangroves, open ocean and human livelihood. This is the Hilsa connection in terms of how they are dependent on different habitat. river, estuary, mangrove, and open sea. Habitat interdependency, as I discussed, ecosystems supporting each other. Mangrove, coral reef. Mangroves trap river sediments, which prevents smothering of nearby coral reefs. Reefs break wave energy, protect mangrove forest from erosion. Both protect coastal communities from storms. Mangrove seagrass coral reef ecosystem. Many fish spawns in mangroves. Juveniles move to seagrass beds, feeding grounds. Adults migrate to coral reefs, eventually move to open ocean. The life cycle connects four ecosystems. Destroy any one, entire fish population would be affected. Species interaction more than predator prey. In an ecosystem, species interact with one another. It can be for food, it can be for non-food also. Mutualism. We have read mutualism, competition, etc. We will discuss only two species interaction today. One species interaction today, that is mutualism, where both benefit. Both the species, when one species interacts with other species, both the species benefit. For example, clownfish and sea anemone interaction. Fish gets protection, anemone gets food scraps, etc. The second example is cleaner shrimp. Cleaner shrimp and fish interaction. Shrimp eats parasites of fish, gets food. The third example is coral and zooxanthal algae. Coral provides shelter, algae provides food through photosynthesis. So this is a mutual benefit. This is known as, this interaction known as mutualism. We also know about prey predator for food and food, etc. Then there is another term called keystone species. Keystone is imagine in an arc you will find a particular stone in the middle which holds the whole arc together. If you remove that middle stone, keystone, then the arch will fall. Similarly, in ecosystem, you have, whether it is forest, marine, etc., you have keystone species. For example, sea otters eat sea urchins and control sea urchin population, and in turn prevent kelp forest destruction. If you remove sea otters, these keystone species, sea otters, the urchins will explode, population would increase, and it would eat all the kelp forest, so that the kelp forest would disappear and the entire ecosystem collapse. So here sea otter plays an important role, and this species holds the whole ecosystem together. If you remove that species, means that ecosystem collapses. So in this, if you conserve that keystone species, then the other species will come back. Life cycle migration, connecting distant ecosystem. Many species use multiple habitats, as we discussed. Prawns born in mangroves move to seagrass meadows, mature in open sea. Next example is sea turtles nest on beaches, feed on open ocean, rest near coral reefs. Salmon burn in rivers, grow in ocean, and return to rivers to spawn. Hilsa, rivers breeding, go to estuaries act as nursery, then goes to open sea for adult feeding. Tuna cross entire ocean basins, connect Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic ecosystems. Whales migrate between polar feeding grounds and tropical breeding areas, transfer nutrients. Sea turtles travel thousands of kilometers, connect Caribbean to African coasts. Seabirds feed in ocean, nest on land, transfer marine nutrient to islands. Consequences, we saw wonderful connection. Now we discussed about consequences of breaking connections. Remove one link, it will have cascading effects. Example 1, overfish sharks, the prey species rays increase, rays eat all scallops, scallop fishery collapses. Example 2, destroy mangroves, sediment will reach reefs, reefs will smother and fish population crash and fisheries fail. Damage in one place affects distance ecosystem. For example, deforestation in Himalayas increases river sediment, Bay of Bengal coastal waters murky, reduces light for plankton, affects entire food web. Overfishing in estuaries, fewer adult fish in open sea, reduced catches for offshore. The third example is mangrove loss, reduced coastal fish population, impact fisheries 50 km away. Tipping point is when systems collapse, ecosystems can absorb some damage and recover, but cross a threshold, sudden and irreversible collapse will occur. Caribbean reefs, for example, overfishing plus algal overgrowth, there is permanent shift from coral dominated to algae dominated. Once tipped, extremely difficult or impossible to restore. But we have good news. Restoration helps multiple systems. For example, if we protect or restore one habitat, benefits cascade. Restore mangroves, like the way we are doing in various in Maharashtra and Odisha and other areas, by planting mangroves, restore mangroves, more fish in open sea, coastal protection plus carbon storage. You have three benefits that you are getting just by planting mangroves. If you protect coral reefs, you will have healthier fish population. The second benefit is tourism value, and third is wave protection. So you see, if you just protect one habitat, you have multiple of benefits that will come. I'll give you an example of Gulf of Mannar success, a case study. The protected coral reef, the coral reef was protected. The fish population rebounded, spillover to fishing areas. Communities stopped destructive fishing. Seagrass beds recovered. Dugongs returned. Mangrove protection. When you do mangrove protection, reduce sediment on reefs, overall ecosystem health improved. One conservation effort, multiple interconnected benefit. It's a great case study in Gulf of Mannar success. We might come in the later stages. Sundarban mangrove system, mangrove provide nursery for fish, support for Bay of Bengal fisheries. Tigers hunt in mangroves, control deer and wild boar, prevent overgrazing. Mangroves trap sediment, protect Kolkata from siltation. Root system supports crabs, shellfish, support human livelihood. Forest, ocean, rivers, wildlife and people all interconnected. Key message is we are part of the web too. Humans are not separate from ocean ecosystem. We are participants. Our reactions create ripples through the web. Pollution we produce enters food webs, returns to us through seafood. Ecosystem we protect, provide as oxygen, food protection, livelihood, etc. What we do to the ocean, we do to ourselves. You have ecosystem services class next tomorrow, I think. I will skip most of the slides, but I'll just go through, as I said, ecosystem services, biodiversity ecosystem services matter because of food security, livelihood, and through fishing, drying, processing, transport, markets, entire coastal economies, climate regulation. And the last one is health and medicine innovation. Compounds from marine organisms have inspired drugs and materials. This example on the here is it's a you might have heard about biomimicry. By just looking at animals or biodiversity inspires a lot of innovations. For example, shark skin inspired textures are studied for reducing microbial attachment. For example, a lot of swimsuits and various other products have been innovated by just looking at shark skin. Sponges and cone snails have led to drug research. So there are a lot of examples on how ocean biodiversity leads to innovation and medicines, etc. I will skip this thing, food security, etc. You will study how it improves livelihood economy, tourism, beach tourism, etc. India's blue economy targets about 300 billion. Regulating, we all know, we have been discussing about the oxygen production, carbon absorption. I'll just keep it this one here. As I discussed, cultural, medicinal, innovation, and human well-being, one of the services, ecosystem services. Drugs from sea, we have discussed. Biotechnology enzymes from deep sea bacteria. Bio-inspired materials such as, inspiration we get from Velcro, from birds, but many bio-inspired technology from marine life. Examples under research: shark skin for bacteria-resistant surfaces, octopus camouflage for adaptive materials. So these are some of the this thing. As I said, 50% drugs from sea, biotech for PhD researchers. Spiritual, we have a lot of coastal festivals, Maharashtra, Koli fishing, heritage, Nigerian ocean lore, etc. Medicines, I will keep this, discuss this slide. We were discussing about medicine from coral reef organisms. We discussed briefly about anti-cancer drugs from coral reef organisms like RRC from Caribbean swans treats leukemia and lymphoma. Trabectedin is uh, is from cone snail venom, treats severe chronic pain. Antiviral drugs, other medical applications such as antibiotics, anti-inflammatory compounds, cardiovascular drugs, Alzheimer research, bone grafts, etc. Uh, are being research is being done for medicines from this coral reef organism. Potential and future, only about 1% of marine organisms studied for medicinal properties. Estimates 10,000 to 20,000 uh, 20,000 potential drug compounds from marine resources, coral reef biodiversity, vast untapped pharmaceutical library. Threats to ocean biodiversity, I'll do very this thing. Threats to ocean connections and solutions, we'll discuss. The threat are removing species faster than they can produce, breaking food web links by eliminating key species, by catching kills non-target species, turtles, dolphins, sharks, and seabirds. Bottom trawling destroys seafloor habitats and connections. How it breaks connections: remove top predator, the prey species explode, overgraze their food, ecosystem collapse, eliminate herbivore fish, algal overgrowth, corals mother and die, destroy nursery ground, no juveniles survive, adult population crash offshore. Solutions: fishing regulation, seasonal the solutions can be very interesting. The solutions, there are threats, challenges are there, but there are opportunities are also there. The opportunities are, if you have fishing regulation, for example, in Bay of Bengal, in Odisha, etc., we have seasonal closure, 61 days of seasonal closure. The fishing is banned during that time. No one goes for fishing. Size limits. If you have regulation, only this particular size fish only can be harvested. That also is important. Catch quotas. How many quantity you can harvest, that also regulations, if you are there, that is important. Gear restrictions, for example, what kind of gear you should use for fishing, etc., is important. The second one is marine protected areas. There are a lot of marine protected, 29 marine protected areas are there. So you have within the marine protected area, you have no-take zones, allow population to rebuild. Then you have community-based management, fishers as stewards, participatory governance, etc. Then you have selective fishing gear I have discussed, and we have threats to ocean biodiversity, climate change, habitat destruction, etc., overfishing, pollution, plastic pollution. We have discussed in an earlier class. You have been discussing about mentors have been discussing about this. I'll skip that. This is important. Illegal wildlife trade is an important threat, is a major this thing to global biodiversity loss, second only to habitat destruction. Unsustainable harvesting prevent natural recovery. This thing, marine species are heavily targeted due to high commercial and cultural demand. For example, key marine species affected are sharks and rays. Millions killed annually, mainly for shark fins, used for shark fin soup in China and other areas. It's a delicacy. Many species are now endangered or critically endangered. There is another species called sturgeon. The IUCN lists all 27 species. 16 species are critically endangered due to intense demand for caviar. It's again delicacy. Sea turtles. Sea turtles are again hunted for meat, eggs, and shells. All species face serious conservation threats. Seahorses, millions traded each year, used in traditional medicines and the aquarium exotic pet trade. Corals and reef fish illegally collected for ornamental and aquarium markets, removal damage or reef ecosystem, large scale illegal extraction also will empty the ocean, etc. Now we looked at this thing. What we can do? What is the hope and action? What are the various comprehensive solutions we have? We are not in hopeless situation. Nature recovers when given a chance. We saw a lot of interesting examples. When threats are reduced, ecosystem bounce back. Recovery happens faster than we think when conditions improve. And if you recover one ecosystem, you get multiple benefits. You have very interesting success stories. Olive ridley turtle protection in Odisha, which I have discussed earlier. Mass nesting beaches protected seasonally at Rushikilya and Gahirmatha. From near extinction to over 500,000 nesting female annually. Community participation in beach monitoring and patrolling helped in protection and conservation of olive ridley turtle protection in Odisha. Chilka Lake restoration is another example. Asia's largest brackish water lagoon brought back from degradation, improved water flow, reduced siltation, controlled invasive species, fish catches increased. dolphin and bird population rebounded. Then community-led mangrove restoration happened because of local stewardship show 70 to 80% survival rates versus 10%, 10 to 20% without the community involvement, which means that community-led mangrove restoration is better than the not involving communities. Communities protect what they benefit from: fish nurseries, coastal protection, livelihood, women self-help groups driving restoration in Sundarban and Odisha coast. Key lesson is people plus nature equal to success, conservation success when communities benefit and participate. Rules alone are not enough. Local stewardship essential. When people see direct benefits, they become the best protectors. Our roles and solutions. We can have what we can do. We can do at individual level and we can do at community level. At individual level, we have daily choices. For example, we can at individual level, we can choose sustainable seafood, reduce plastic use, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, proper waste disposal, reduce carbon footprint, support conservation organization and MPS. The second one, apart from daily choices, we can have lifestyle changes, responsible tourism, educate yourself and others about ocean connections, participate in cleanups and citizen science, share knowledge on social media. At community level, collective action, organize regular beach river cleanups, form community monitoring groups, water quality, fish stocks and habitats, develop sustainable livelihood alternatives, ecotourism, value addition, etc., create awareness. Then the next important one is traditional knowledge integration. Document traditional ecological knowledge from elders in your locality. Combine traditional practices with scientific management. Revival sustainable traditional fishing methods, including elders, participatory management, etc. I have done some interesting this thing. You have action framework overview. Individual, if you just focus on habits, India's success matrix is 10 million plus plastic pledges via campaigns. Community local initiative 100 plus beach cleanups per year, Maharashtra. Professionals, innovative policy engineers, 20% blue jobs by 2030. Global job by UN Ocean Decade, India leads this thing, Ocean Observatory, etc. Individual action, I have already said what you can do: reduce plastics, reusable bags, then sustainable seafood, use app like MSC, Marine Stewards Council app, avoid juveniles, educate, share social media, family talks, etc. You can have very good careers in marine fields, research and science. You can have marine biologist, oceanographer, marine ecologist, fishery scientist, marine genetist, coral reef scientist. In conservation and management, you can have coastal zone managers, conservation officer, etc. In policy, you can have a policy analyst, environmental lawyer, international fishery negotiator. Technology and innovation, you can be a marine engineer, remote sensing specialist, marine robotics developer, aquaculture technologist, etc. Education and communication, marine educators, science communicators, aquarium curators. Emerging fields are ocean forecast modeler, maritime special planner, coastal community organizer, marine archaeologist, etc. At the community level, as I said, you can do beach cleanups, monitoring, restoration, etc. You can be a citizen scientist for conservation. You can use various apps. A citizen science is a community science, crowd science, is research conducted with participation from general public or amateur non-professional researcher or participants of science, so social science and many other disciplines. You can be a policy advocacy in marine conservation. I will skip this. Pichavaram You can go for mangrove restoration, community level mangrove restoration, community driven ecological restoration, and the way it was done in Pichavaram. You can go for use various apps. For example, for coastal cleanup, you can use apps like Clean Swell, Marine Debris Tracker, Clean Beach, etc. I'll just give you an example. Clean Swell, join the international coastal cleanup. Use this free app to go to log every piece of trash you find, upload data to a global database, and see your impact. It works everywhere, anytime, even offline. You can use other apps like Marine Debris Tracker, etc., and Clean Beach. You can use another interesting app called App iNaturalist and eBird for monitoring nature. iNaturalist is a free global platform for monitoring and documenting nature, identify plants, animals, and fungi using photos. And eBird is a global platform focused on tracking and monitoring bird sightings, allows creation of checklists from birding widgets, etc. etc. So you can use it. You can start it from tomorrow and go use these apps for monitoring ocean biodiversity or coastal biodiversity. What you can do at policy level? Policy level, at government level, regulatory framework, strengthen and enforce fishing regulation, expand more protected area network, economic instrument, for example, incentives, subsidize sustainable practices, remove harmful subsidies, payment for ecosystem service schemes, certification and eco-labeling support penalty systems of violation with technology. Regulation can be for trawl bans, gear limits, etc. Maharashtra seasonal closure. Incentive can be sustainable certification, labels for exports like blue seals, etc. You can create or conserve marine protected area, promote marine protected area, a specialized regulated oceanic region designed to conserve marine ecosystem and biodiversity. And you have no-take zones where fishing is completely prohibited and buffer zones control activities are permitted. We have a lot of interesting India success stories of Gulf of Mannar Marine Protected Area and where community have conserved and benefited this thing. And regulations, I'll just little this thing. Regulations are very important. Regulations are rules and directives made and maintained by an authority. Types of fishing regulation can be temporal when seasonal trawl bans. India 61-day monsoon closure protects breeding population. Special where to fish or protected zones, etc. Technical, as I said, mesh size limits, prevent capture juvenile fish, gear restrictions such as total excluder devices mandatory in Odisha shrimp tolls, selective fishing methods reduce bycatch. Success story Maharashtra's adaptive management, 65 days monsoon ban for mechanized vessels plus total nesting zone closures, which resulted in 40 to 50% higher post-monsoon catch rates, pomfret, mackerel, sardines. Fishers now voluntarily extend closures when observing delayed spawning. Community witnessed direct income benefits from stock recovery. Three conditions for regulation success: scientific basis, that is, which is data driven and decisions, not arbitrary rules. Enforcement capacity, rules must be implementable and monitored. Community acceptance, fishers must see value and participate. Then the regulation will work. Incentives, making conservation profitable. What are incentives? Something that are motivates an individual to perform an action. It can be economic incentive or which is friendly practice, advantage for conservation friendly practices rather than penalizing harm. how certification program works. Marine Steward Council and Aqua Stewards Council, they're what it is what they do is they have standards for sustainable practices, independent assessment of environmental and social standards, chain of custody tracking from sea to plate, result 10 to 15% price premiums over conventional products, access to high value markets with sustainability requirement. India's seafood exports industry $7.7 billion in 22-23. India's certification success stories. Astamundi Lake in Kerala is the first Stewardship Council certified fishery, women-led clam fishery, traditional selective harvesting methods for short-necked clams, outcome 25% price premium, stable long-term market access, women empowered through sustainable practices. The similar thing is Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat shrimp farms gaining ASC certification through zero antibiotic protocol, not using antibiotics, mangrove buffer zone protection integrated into farm management, secured partnership with European retailers, premium prices for responsibility European retailers. Innovation and technology. You can use various, for monitoring, you can use various AI and drone technology for species monitoring. You can use satellite and ocean buoys for real-time intelligence. Apart from that, AI and technology, you can use community-led co-management models. You can use AI drones for species tracking. Regional cases, for example, Andaman's invasives was detected. Satellites, real-time data, INCOIS monsoon forecast, Maharashtra fisheries, community-led co-management, Nigeria marine protected area rebounds, biodiversity Sundarban, etc. Success story proof that restoration works. I have already told this thing about Astamundi Lake, Gulf of Mannar, and Chilka Lake. We have discussed. Gulf of Mannar, I'll just discuss a little bit. The crisis was in pre-1989. Fishing communities along Tamil Nadu southeast coast watched their catches dwindle. Dynamite fishing and bottom trawling destroyed coral reefs, seahorses, dugongs, and reef fish disappeared. Fishers worked long hours for small catches. The turning point came 1989. It was designated, Gulf of Mannar was designated as first marine biosphere reserve and community plus 10,500 square kilometer protected with community action. Community formed the village watch groups. They become the ocean guardians, banned destructive practices themselves, and recovery started 99 to 2000. Within a decade, coral cover increased 20%. Seahorses, dugongs returned. Fish population increased. Fisheries yield tripled. The transmission today, fishers catch their daily quota in 3 to 4 hours instead of 10 to 12 hours. Tourism created 10,000 plus jobs. And recent technology integration scales conservation, drones, environmental DNA technology now enable real-time tracking of species recovery. So these are certain examples. So in Gulf of Mannar demonstrates that protecting the ocean protects you in return. From crisis to comeback, how fisher folk became guardians and restored Indian richest marine ecosystem while tripling their incomes. I have already discussed about various technology, satellite tracking, fishing, this thing, drones, eDNA for biodiversity assessment, AI for illegal fishing detection. You can use alternative materials, for example, biodegradable fishing gear, plant-based plastics, edible packaging, algae-based products, etc. These are some of the 2030 vision and blue economy calls which already been discussed. India has placed this thing healthy oceans, which is equal to 2 lakh crore economy, plus 20 million jobs. The 2030 vision isn't government policy, it is our collective responsibility. It is our action which will help in having this blue economy. The last but one slide is the key messages of today is urgency plus hope. The urgent reality is ocean ecosystems are degrading faster than ever. We are breaking connections that took millions of years to evolve, tipping points approaching for some systems, climate change accelerating, window for action is closing but still open. The hopeful truth, what we found is nature is resilient when we give it space. We have proven solutions that work. Every connection we protect strengthens the whole system. Success stories show recovery is possible. Growing movement of ocean stewards worldwide. What is needed is political will, financial investment, community empowerment, scientific guidance, international cooperation, and individual action. The choice is ours. Continue breaking connections, will have cascading ecosystem collapse and human suffering. If we protect and restore connections, resilient oceans, thriving communities, we still have time to choose the second path. In the end, what I would like to say is key takeaways for today's class is ocean biodiversity is vast, ecosystems are interconnected, we depend on the ocean, action is possible. By bringing the summary of the class is what we have learned today is ocean is our life support system. Ocean biodiversity is extraordinary and everything is connected. Humans are part of this web, not separate from it. Our region is both blessed and vulnerable. India and Bangladesh. Bay of Bengal supports fishers. Marine is unique diversity. We have natural protection. Threats are breaking these connections. Solution exist and work. Regulation, enforcement, and community support. Success in Maharashtra. Marine protected areas rebuild population. Habitat restoration heals ecosystem. Sustainable practices increase income. Community leadership stewardship is most effective. Ocean literacy is the foundation. Understanding ocean human connections drives action. Knowledge leads to caring and leads to action. Everyone has a role regardless of location, whether you are in Delhi, Pune, or elsewhere, or you are a student, lawyer, or an engineer. Everyone has a role. Ocean literate communities protect ocean resources. Ocean literate societies demand better policies. The final message of today is our ocean, our future, our choice, our responsibility, our opportunity. Choose wisely, act boldly, succeed together. The ocean is waiting. Let's not keep it waiting any longer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. As rightly said, everyone has a role, and understanding ocean human connection is the key. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a detailed session and helping us understand this incredibly diverse life within the marine ecosystem, and as well as guiding us with our actions, reflecting the responsibility in conservation and protection. Any
And
for
the thing is, you know, the it's not hopeless condition. There is the restoration works, and there are a lot of success story. What we have discussed is it is possible.
yes, exactly. It is possible. We are not that too late, but if we start individually, probably we will all reach together.
Yeah.
Any of our participants would like to go ahead with the questions? We have limited time. So you can either post it or maybe directly unmute yourself and go ahead with the question.
I can't. This thing can anyone, if anyone, this thing, tell them to ask me question, not in the chat, but in the.
Ma'am, you can stop sharing your screen as well.
Sorry.
You can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I will.
If anyone has a question, you all can directly unmute yourself and go ahead, or just raise your hand and I'll pick you.
I really enjoyed speaking about this thing, and I hope most of your ocean literacy students, I today's discussion was Principle 5 of ocean literacy, isn't it? And how ocean literacy is important. And I would request that individuals can start taking action from today onwards and go ahead. Thank you.
I believe there are no questions coming. The presentation itself was so detailed that they must have all absorbed all the information which is given by you. I really appreciate your efforts and your time educating us on this platform. Thank you so much.
And if you require the PPTs and this thing, I will always send. Uh,
Yes, ma'am, definitely. You can share your presentation with me, and then I can just post it with our participants later.
if they have any other this thing, I will also give a list of resource material where they can refer and this thing get their materials from.
That will be really helpful for the participants as well.
Yeah, I will do that. Just give me some time, maybe next week.
Yes, ma'am, you can post it to me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you to all the participants who have attended. As we know, we'll be taking a break for next 2 days and we'll be joining back on Monday. And our Monday's topic is threats to the national security arising from the sea, which will be conducted by Captain K.K. Agnihotri. The link for the next session will be shared with you all on Monday itself. To see you all on Monday at 3. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
You too, ma'am. Have a great weekend.